Today we're in Raid Shadow Legends and we're checking out Granyt Doorkeep. Granyt Doorkeep is the new fusion that we have in the game for September 2025. And he looks pretty cool. He looks a lot like, who's this other one here? Oh, Samar. He looks a bit like Samar Gemcursed, right? Those of you guys watching on YouTube, I am recording this live on Twitch, and Twitch chat is saying, don't take this dwarf for granted. But you guys get it. Anyway, he does look pretty cool, and I would love to know, drop me a comment down below, are you going for this fusion? I know a lot of people are kind of tapped out from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fusion that we did with Donnie, sorry. And, you know, trying to save shards and pull for Raph and also pull for Leo. You know, so I'd love to know what you guys are doing. But today we are going to check out the lore story for Granyt Doorkeep. He's a legendary HP dwarf champ. I haven't read this at all, so this will be new to me. We're going to read it together. The last few hunters staggered out of the stout oak, based on the shattered bar stools, an unconscious ogren hanging out of a window, multiple teeth and blood pools decorating the floor, and the slumped body of a dock guard draped across a bench. Molly's night was just beginning. The inn was filled with a comfortable silence, punctuated by the pops and crackles of its raging fire. Molly finally exhaled as a being who could move literal mountains stepped out of the shadows behind the bar. Even after all these years, she still marveled at Granyt, the only bouncer she needed. His muscled, blue-gray skin was etched with runic tattoos that pulsed a pale green. Stone encased his shoulders, forearms, and hands. Several rocks, each with their own rune, wobbled as they orbited his bald head. Molly still had no idea what made him this way. Such were the mysteries of geomancers. Granyt surveyed the devastation, whistling at its scale. I've seen cave-ins neater than this. Lumea wept. I told you to de-escalate the situation, not start a free-for-all. Kira is going to have me drowning in paperwork because you injured another of her dock guards. Molly gestured to the heap on the bench, who had an almighty welt over his right eye. Dangers of the job. He jumped in to break it up, and happened to collide with my fist. Honest mistake. Granyt flexed his fingers, dust falling from the joints. The black eye? Yes. The boot up the arse when he called you a rock-fisted son of a rank mole? No. It was a 2-for-1 deal. The two began their nightly routine. Granyt with his heavy mop and bucket, Molly gathering the flag-ons dotted around the inn. The two worked independently. Granyt whistling half-forgotten tunneling guildwork songs, while Molly tried to sing the latest ditty the traveling bard had brought from Karok. She kept stumbling over the chorus, her mind wandering to Granyt. Did he know? Had he remembered? After a couple of hours, the Stout Oak Inn was back to its usual state, with its back window patched by a panel of solid rock, and the unconscious ogre sleeping peacefully on the flagstones outside, thanks to a simple heave-ho from Granyt. The two returned to the bar, Molly taking up a stool as Granyt walked behind the counter. Her eyes lingered on him, her gaze a mix of awe and pity. He took the gilded tankard and drinking horn from his belt, gave him a quick spit wash, and filled them up with foaming ale. He gave the horn to Molly, and the two both gulped down the swirling liquid, letting out simultaneous gaps of refreshment. Swift Creeks really outdone themselves with this one, Molly said, wiping her mouth with her sleeve. You've had that look all day. What is it? Granyt asked. Well, I checked the calendar. Today marks 10 years since you crashed through that door, caked in dirt, soot, and Lumea knows what else, and pleaded with me to help you. A prolonged pause hung in the air. Feels like yesterday, he said. The relief when you saw me. I hadn't seen a friendly face for a while. You were absolutely exhausted. I sat you in front of that fire, and all you could do was say that one phrase. Can you remember it? They're all trapped. Granit's eyes were now drawn to the fire, and he rapidly clenched and unclenched his fists. Molly sat by him, placing her hand on a rocky shoulder. Do you still think about it? She asks. Every day I see them, out of the corner of my eye, just exactly how they were. At the bar, crowded round the fire, I can hear them singing the same old songs. But when I look at them, they melt away. The lords of the pit, snuffed out like a candle. The two sat in silence for a short while. Let's drink to them. If they're always here, they'll cheer with us too, Molly said. Let's give him the good stuff. We're commemorating something. She went behind the bar, gathered 2 flutes of fine Arabian glassware, and poured 2 glugs of crystalline liquor into each. She passed one to Granyt, still amazed that someone with hands of stone could hold something so delicate. She cleared her throat. To all the hooligans you've knocked out, all the pies I've served up, and to all the punters we've given a spot of comfort, an island of calm, and a sea of muck, cheers. Molly held out her glass to Granyt. A smile crept across his face as he clinked his glass with hers. Cheers, Molly, to many more years. Okay, now this was a different kind of lore story, right? Like in this one, there's dialogue. I don't think we've kind of seen a lore story like this, right? There's dialogue between Granyt, but not just Granyt. There's also Molly, because apparently this takes place at Molly's tavern and he's a bouncer. And there's like a lot of little like tidbits here, right? Is that they mentioned that he used to be a geomancer. And as we've seen before, I did a story for Geomancer like a while back, and the Geomancer that's in this game isn't necessarily a champion in his own, but more of like a class of dwarves, right? So they're saying that he used to be a Geomancer, and obviously something happens. Talking about cave-ins, right? Talking about them all being stuck, that they couldn't escape. So something happened here where he was probably excavating with other dwarves, other geomancers, and probably very similar to what happened to like Brogni, or what happened with, we were just looking at like Samar. Somehow he ended up fusing with some of the rock that they came into contact with, and that could explain why he looks like the way he does. So in a way, they actually keep his lore story very mysterious. Yeah, and those of you guys watching on YouTube, my Twitch chat is talking about how Granyt, you know, could be like the Geomancer upgrade in a way, like a legendary version of Geomancer. In that, yeah, Geomancer army could be very dangerous. That is very, very true. But I'd love to know what you guys think of the lore story for Granyt Doorkeep. Like I said, it's a very different type of lore than what we're used to, and we still don't really know a lot about him. They keep it very, like, vague purposely, but enough for us to kind of, you know, fill in the dots. That, yeah, it seems like he used to be one of these guys. He used to be a Geomancer, and then something happened. Most likely when they were excavating, and then he turned into this. Because Brogni's story kind of goes something similar to, where's Brogni? Because Brogni also has like these gems encased on him, right? So I'd love to know what you guys think of this. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop me a comment down below on this, and thanks for watching.